Oh, you got it.
Okay. I think we're recording now. Okay. Yes, it looks like a little red dot. That's good news. So the goal today really is to try to figure out the best packaging for the website and just to share some of our initial ideas. I mean, we can certainly swing back and loop Brian in with some more of our conversations, but I want him to try to start getting moving on the development of the website. So as you know, this is the County College website, and then we have a link from here, which is also our own separate web page. So we do have a separate website that we can push out to, so it doesn't have to be linked directly there. I mean, first of all, it doesn't even have our logo on it, so that's definitely a problem. Second of all, this front page is all text, and it's just not inviting. I mean, my one-page handout couldn't be uploaded on this, whatever format they're using, so and visually it's not very productive. So I guess the first thing, and Brian and I, as we were looking at it last week, I mean, if you touch, these are all they go all back right to the council. So we need our website to have these tabs here for the topics that make sense for the center, which right now are only over here and are very generic and aren't even organized by any alphabetical order or priority or anything that I can figure out. So I guess my first question to you, Jen and Will, is there anything in particular that you would like to see in terms of topics? So I definitely think, we have some, I don't think I want to lose this content. I mean, we definitely need an about the center page that could, I think, include the advisory board members as well as partners. Like those, I think, could be connected into one. Usually you have that about, which they have up there. I think that something that we could put perhaps those two there. Does that make sense to the two of you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does to me. I know one of the things that I've even gone on this page and couldn't find very easily are the events. So I see like you have just the two of the upcoming events, like the most recent upcoming events listed there. But I'd love to see that have its own tab so that if you're on any page, you can quickly get to that. And then making sure that that's a complete list. And then if there are any, I know sometimes you record the events and then you have recordings of those. So if we even kept the past events on there as well, so that people could go on back, click on those and easily see those recordings, that would be great.
Excellent. Yes, we definitely need that. We need to have upcoming events, past events, so that people can easily find resources. I think that's going to be key. Excellent. I'm just going to click on, so Guided Pathways, for instance, is like this, it's information. I do think we should have a tab about Guided Pathways. And this has to be, this is changing by the minute. Part of the problem is trying to keep everything up to date. But the good news is I got a couple more colleges on board, so I got to update that. That's great. But then these resources really were just endless, and they're not even clear what kind of resource it is. So to me, I was thinking that if it's a video-based resource, like the conference was videotaped, we should have a media picture there with a little play screen, so it's very clear to the reader, and then underneath of it the PDF version. I think one of the challenges that we're going to have is our videos are not closed captions, so I am a little worried about the accessibility issue. I'm not sure how we can fix that problem immediately, but I guess we can at least package things first, and then we can work on maybe getting those closed captioned in the future. I don't know how much that'll cost and whether we have any budget for it.
You might even be able to just do something like linking it over to some sort of, I guess a screen reader wouldn't work. That would just be more for a visually impaired person. But maybe a link to something along those lines in order to help somebody out. Like, I don't know if there's any text-to-speech software that somebody could just link to, because, speech-to-text software, so they could link one of those and maybe have it go into closed captioning on its own. Bless you.
God bless.
Thanks.
Yeah, so Brian and I, we have talked about these issues many times in the past.
Yeah, we did quite a lot of work on closed captioning videos previously, so yes, we can certainly do that, and definitely accessibility is vitally important.
Yeah, so we'll take a look to see, because I think you're right. We have to, we'll look at what kind of quick Band-Aids we can do initially, and then maybe look at the long-term plan and getting everything up to speed, or focusing at least on the current ones that we're putting up. Things like that.
For the resources, do we want to categorize them?
Yes.
And that way people will know, specifically under the New Jersey Guided Pathways resources, the list here.
Yes.
Either maybe a single line summary of what the resource links to, or if they're categorized, then we don't need to have a synopsis.
Yeah, so I was actually thinking, here's some of the topics I was thinking about. One is like a overview of guided pathways. So in the beginning, we had more of the case making, like what is guided pathways,
Right.
so more of like a what is category or general. I'd like another one on program mapping, because I think we've had several events and resources that we can put there. We could also put links to examples of program maps. Advising is the other area I think that we're getting ready to do more work on, and we had, a little bit of focus on in the fall. Now, technically, teaching and learning also should be under guide. Basically, I could actually go back to I'm just going to scroll back here a minute and go back to if I can. I think I have to use the back button to get back. We go back to the framework. I changed, this isn't all up to date, but the learning, maybe we could even keep these as the primary focus. Brian, I could share with you our one pager that is better than this and updated. But maybe those could be the 4 main pages within the guided pathways. Maybe those are the primary page even. Like maybe that's the front page instead of a separate tab, because it's kind of what the center does. So if we turn this into, a more visual, maybe I should just pull it up real quick, Brian, just so you can see it. Let me just pull up the one pager real quick. Don't mind my crazy mess of files here. You're going to discover I'm a disaster. All these files, by the way, I created since I got here. That's the crazy part of it all. This is all new stuff. I've only been here 3 months. Imagine when I'm here for a couple years. It'll be really crazy. Let's see. I got to go to center documents, mission and principles. Okay, so you see how this is more visual, Brian? So so we could put this on the front page, and then perhaps each of these then links out to a separate page that would be packaging those documents.
Even if there's some redundancy, like even if you kept this still as a separate page from the guided pathways page, but just had some redundancy in how they're categorized, then people would really start to understand, how these categories fit together or are separate.
Yeah, we could just use the same language in multiple places.
Absolutely.
That's good.
I do like having it. I don't know why, but in my mind, I kind of do like having it as separate pages. So having a home page and then having that guided pathways page with that same type of lingo.
Okay. So like one of the tabs up here could be about, another one could be guided pathways. So what else would we have besides guided pathways? So they have a lot of other things here. We could do NJC4. That's kind of a small separate initiative. I would put that all the way on the right though, Brian. Like to me, I don't want to minimize the importance of it, but it's a smaller, I think, initiative than the other things we're doing. So that I think is kind of its own thing. Achieving the dream. So we have colleges working on this, and they had some work here. Currently, I don't have any active processes going on that are specific to this, although it's all connected, obviously, to guided pathways. So I don't know what your thoughts are about this part. Should this just have its own tab, or should it be under, I don't know what other initiatives are. I don't remember what was under this category.
Is it coming back, or is it?
Well, it's still in progress for colleges. It's just that there's only so many things that I can do in the center. So the strategic plan doesn't have achieving the dream specifically mentioned in it. So we won't have anything that is just about that. But again, it's all aligned, kind of. I don't know if you remember when Chris Baldwin put his presentation, he was talking about here's this initiative and how all of these things helped form and shape where we are today with guided pathways. So I think guided pathways is definitely the front and center language that we want, but I don't want to lose that because people are still achieving the dream colleges and still working on that. So maybe we just have another tab for achieving the dream.
Sure.
Yeah, there's other initiatives out there too. Are there, that kind of might go under, stick with the initiatives tab and then just have that as one of.
And NJC4 could go under that then.
Right.
Yeah, that's true too.
So we could do initiatives, because we do want to distinguish guided pathways as a movement, and we want it to be distinct and be informed by the initiatives, but be bigger and broader. So initiatives could have NJC4 and achieving the dream.
Yeah,
now,
C4 is already under your initiative.
I'm sorry?
NJC4 is already, there's a description underneath at the bottom.
Oh, under initiatives. Oops, wait, I clicked too fast. Sorry.
Yeah, there's a paragraph at the bottom.
Yeah, and that has its own tab over here also. So,
And that's to serve the documents for when people are doing the events in November.
yep. Yeah, so this is really our old strategic goals, Brian, just so you know, under initiatives. I feel like the guided pathways, that one page thing I just showed you, is going to replace most of this. I don't know that this language serves us still because they're all like, it's old stuff referring to the big ideas that we're just not using that language right now. Unless you folks have a different, are you okay with that if we just get rid of this?
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. And really, like, because Guided Pathways is the big initiative, so kind of leave this like an initiative side, maybe, or a tab just for additional.
Right, like the Achieving the Dream, the NJC4 can go under that.
Yeah.
And actually, when I look at AccuPlacer, I mean, like, there should be something on here about NJ Stars. I don't know where it is, but
Which might not be called that much longer.
yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What are they changing it to?
We'd have to look it up.
Okay.
Scholar, something, I forget the word.
New Jersey Scholars Program, something like that.
Scholars,
Okay.
yeah.
Is it still going to be top 15?
They're
I
hoping to
think-
get it to 20 if they're lucky. That's what
Good.
their goal is.
Good.
Get it back to
Now,
20.
I know that information's elsewhere on the council's website, like, and I know we're part of the, the council, but I would want to just make sure, like, if it is in multiple places, that's fine, but just making sure that the information is consistent in those two places.
Right. And I don't know I mean, actually, that is more probably council focused than center focused because if we're thinking about the purpose of the website for the center, it's really, I think, to be a resource to help folks do guided pathways.
Yeah.
That's pretty much in a nutshell what we're doing. So I don't know we even need that there.
When this kind of page that you're on right now, like that's talking about the AccuPlacer, I like how it talks about like it kind of gives a little synopsis from each college. Could we do the same thing when you talk about on the Guided Pathways page when it talks about like, these are all the partner colleges? If we could give a brief synopsis. The only thing about this is that it would change because things are changing so quickly, but what people are working towards, or I don't know, because I know, different colleges are kind of taking different approaches or adopting different parts of it. Is there a way to have kind of a synopsis like, Salem Community College is focusing on the advising part of Guided Pathways, or, RCBC is focusing on the meta majors or something like that?
Yes, we could. I mean, I think the challenge is to constantly keep that updated, I guess. So, but we can totally do that. I mean, I think I would have better, I think, more meaningful data if we drill down a little bit into those buckets. Like, so for instance, what the student success course looks like at each college right now, like some of those resources, what the professional development looks like at these colleges. So I have been gathering that because those are the leaders I have been working with. So we could have a place where under Guided Pathways, say under professional development, we could have, and it could just be an archive, so that if it's date, it's not up to date, but this is as of this date, this is where colleges were, and the next year we put another layer there to kind of
another thing
that.
we could do is maybe even without that information, maybe just put how we talked about having advocates at every college or ambassadors, Guided Pathways ambassadors at every college, maybe just put just their contact information, a quick link to their email, and then if people want to reach out to fellows at other colleges, they do it so quickly.
Yep.
And if the institutions are maintaining something for their Guided Pathways process, I'll link to that.
Yeah.
And that way you're not constantly updating your site.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, because a lot of them have a Guided Pathways landing page at their institution. So if I just link there, then I don't have to update the content. I don't know that they all do, but I think some of them do. So
we do. Bill, do you guys have that yet? Because I'm going to jump on.
I don't think so.
Okay, I was going to say I'm going to jump on your website.
I'm trying to remember which college I'm blurring. I feel like Hudson might, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll look for one if you want it. I'll send it off to you. I know I've seen that at a couple of colleges.
Yeah, that would be great, especially since we're new to the process.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, for the Accuplacer placement test, so we did a lot of work with DevEd, the college readiness kind of component. I feel like this isn't even really here. So, I mean, maybe it's under a resource center. Let's see. I can't keep track. Yeah, here's some college readiness now stuff. So I think there needs to be a college readiness now tab.
Yeah, and the Accuplacer could go under that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
An Accuplacer could be under it. I don't even know if that Accuplacer, if this is even, I don't know. I guess that could go under it. I mean, I guess there's no harm, no foul, but I'm not sure. As long as it's linked to updates, I don't know if these are going to files or that might be old. That's the only
Ours
thing.
are old.
Yeah, if they're links to websites, then we're okay. But if not,
Yeah, our that site's dead for us.
okay. All right. I don't even know if that's really, I mean, this isn't really about giving like every college has already got that. Like, I don't know if that, I don't think that this is really the point of the website, right? That's more of a
Right.
student facing.
Yeah. No,
I think the point is more of let's hear about what people are doing for college readiness programs
Mhm.
that we can mirror and model and the data and all the reports attached to that. I mean, that's valuable.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we'll get this Accuplacer stuff out of here. I don't think we really need that.
I mean, unless we need it as a resource, so if people are wondering what other colleges are doing,
Hmm.
Okay.
scores wise, I don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
but you have to comb through because that stuff gets outdated pretty quick too.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, let me see. We might have something that's more up to date and more generic about the scores and the whole multiple measures thing. So maybe we can
Or just the contact person,
Right.
who you should go to if you're wondering how
Mhm.
that's done at different institutions.
Right. Again, these contact people are tough. I'm going to tell you, one of the toughest things I have to do right now is maintain the list of who the leaders are in all these groups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every second, it's changing. I mean, like literally, I print it out. I'm so proud. And I'm like, oh, there comes another email. This person's not working here anymore, and this person is. So I think I'd want to probably be cautious about having too many contacts because then it looks like you're
Right.
out of date. I mean, I appreciate that that's useful information if it works, but I'm just telling you, it's tough to.
Yeah.
It's a moving target to even know who
Right.
you're supposed to be working with.
Yeah.
Could you at least have something like a department or some
Yeah.
kind of reference? You're right. I think it's too much update to have individuals.
Sure.
Okay, yeah, so maybe like a department or like a website type. link.
Right. Something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, so we go back here. So initiatives, we discussed, but we're getting rid of all that. Okay, so that's mostly going. Success stories. I mean, these are always good to do. There's not that many of them. I don't know what you think about the best way to communicate that.
And a couple of these are again a little bit older.
Yeah. I mean, he's not there anymore. He's over at CCP as the president, so that's done.
Mhm.
I'm not sure what this definitely adds. I mean, if we wanted to do this, I think maybe like with a banner or a picture that was updated, we could highlight somebody, in a different way. But having a static
Right.
page, I don't think makes a whole lot of sense.
Or maybe this just gets promoted up to the NJCC site. Not part of it.
Yeah, I can push it over to them. Yeah. Right. The broader site. That's a good point. All right. So Brian, we'll probably not keep a tab with that page. I don't think that makes sense, but we could consider putting a banner or something where we could rotate our front page, whatever our picture is. It could be highlighting an upcoming event. It could be highlighting a success story. I mean, that's something we could just modify and keep kind of fresh. All right, let's scan this. Would you say that ESL stuff would go under college readiness, or is there a broader? I guess that could, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
Okay. So the ESL stuff can go under the college readiness tab. So I think most of that. Then there's these there's some papers and things. I think we're going to need one for the student success course. I think we need a tab for that maybe.
Yeah.
Because we're putting a lot of emphasis on that right now.
Yeah, but doesn't that fall under the guided pathways? Wouldn't that be on the guided pathways tab?
Yeah, but that could be I'm thinking that could then be a follow-up page to that. So not like on the top,
Sure.
maybe.
Or listed in two places.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, I mean, I guess I'm trying to think if I'm a student success coordinator,
Where am I going to go? Yeah.
yeah, where am I going to go? Okay. Then these are some national studies. So maybe we need like a resources tab.
Definitely. Yep.
Mhm.
Put a lot of this information in it. I mean, some of this we can re-channel to the right tab.
Right.
But then I think some of this is like, I think national resources might be good to make sure they're linking to the AACC, the CCRC, you know, making sure those,
And as we talked about before, the whole making the case for guided pathways
Mhm.
is kind of where that belongs as resources,
yeah,
which might, again, the role of that is going to be much less important as more students or more schools participate.
Yeah. But still, even for the schools that are participating, like we're pretty new to this,
Mhm.
still even selling it
Internally, yeah.
internally, it's important. So resources like that would be helpful. I know I'm kind of jumping ahead, but I still really like the idea of having two different types of buttons. I've always liked ask a question type buttons where you could just quickly email you or somebody on your staff. But then also like a subscribe type button. I know we talked about ways of collecting more email addresses, and a subscribe button with this might get us to more of those point people. And then maybe we could just, whenever you make an update to the website, we could just do a quick push out to all of those people who've subscribed.
Yeah, that's great. I think we should definitely have that. I had somebody on Friday say to me, now, how do I make sure I know about all your events that are coming up? Like, we have to get you on a mailing list or something. So we can lean on the faculty ambassadors to get folks connected. But if folks want a direct connection, we should give them some direct connection to the monthly newsletter or whatever it is that we're going to be sending out.
Yeah, cast a wide net and then we get more fish.
Exactly. The other thing that's not here, because it's kind of new, what I've been doing is the New Jersey story data. So Brian, let me just pull up. I'm going to try to go to my crazy Dropbox again. I'll just show you an example. If I go to 7, let's see, is this it? I think this one is it. Hopefully it's the right one. From some of the, I've been pulling together some like of the New Jersey picture. So like you can see here, the DevEd courses are decreasing, innovative approaches are increasing. So I feel like as we start to gather that, like I feel like we need a tab that has like New Jersey data, or maybe a tab that has like data and then a national and a New Jersey tab underneath of it might be better. Because this is the kind of stuff that people will want to put their fingertips on easily. You know, I remember her showing me this. Where is it? Make sure it's accessible. You look at our primary, our guiding principles. It's about convenings, but also data-driven, decision making. So to make sure that we provide our, constituents with that. So that's just that. Now I can get out of this. Like this is called New Jersey Studies. I got to be honest, I have not had a chance to read all of this stuff. I've watched a lot of these recordings. These are more making the case kind of stuff down here. There's some like reverse articulation, like I don't know what category to put. Like there's some things that are very small and narrow in scope, like reverse articulation. I don't know what to do with that. And
also, that's starting to get kind of old too. It's 3 years old, and those agreements are
right
all the time.
I don't know whether we should still keep it there. I don't know if people are using it. I don't have hit information on any of this stuff, so I don't know if this is stuff people are using or not using.
In the future, will you be able to collect data on hits and clicks and all that stuff, or no?
That's an important question, actually, because depending on how we choose to, or where we choose to host and build this, that would have quite an impact on.
I think that data is really useful because if you see where people are clicking the most, that gives you an idea of the resources that people need the most. And what people are most interested in. So if it is possible, I don't know if it's much more expensive or anything, but if it is possible to host it on a domain that gives you that access, that would be wonderful.
Okay.
Absolutely. I think that's essential. Okay, so I think we went through meeting resources. We didn't click on that one. Let's see. reading resources. See, like here's like some undocumented students. Like there's all these like other categories. Like we need like a catch-all or something. I don't know if anyone has any ideas about some of these. I mean, DevEd, we could probably put in college readiness. That's fine. Student services, first year experience, we could probably tuck into the, we can either call that first year experience or student success course or something. Here's like the park update that can go, I think
Student
under
readiness.
DevEd. Yeah, college readiness. But like when we have some of these things like undocumented students and reverse transfer, I mean, there's definitely some things that are just, I don't know. I mean, we could just not put them there and see if anybody gets upset, and then we could put them in if we get any complaints. I mean, so where did you put my undocumented? Where did you put my reverse transfer? Then we could add it. But I mean, I kind of feel like I don't want to make it so overwhelming, like it's like endless.
I guess I'd just kind of use the resource tab as just almost a catch-all for a bunch of different stuff. Like try to categorize it as much as possible. But then if you have a miscellaneous resources list, then, so be it. It's still better than how it's organized.
That's true. So if we had resources and then we had a couple of like national, state, and then other or something, we just have a catch-all category. I think that could work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, is there anything that's not on this page that needs to be on the page?
Some links to national organizations too, or other organizations that are working on some of the stuff. So NAID, for instance, the National Association of Developmental Ed, links to what they have to say about things. Journals on it. So then you would have the Journal of Developmental Education, links to them. The Kellogg Institute out at Appalachian State University. I know you said before, like the CCRC, a direct link to the Guided Pathways book, to, why am I forgetting the title of the book?
Yeah, Redesigning Community Colleges.
Redesigning Community Colleges, yeah. Like even a direct link to that on Amazon so somebody could go ahead and purchase it right away. I don't know, Bill, what other organizations?
I was thinking of, isn't there a state one for New Jersey Developmental Ed?
Well, actually, so that's a good question. So I actually am the past president of that. That's NJADE, and I've had the heck of a time continuing to get that organization, with its legs on it. Like we were just basically the president-elect, and past president. We were just rotating the roles over and over again. Right. So we're pretty much dormant at this point. NAID has asked what we could do to revive that that organization, but it was just really tough. Like whenever we would call meetings and stuff, we'd have all of 3 people there. And
yeah, because we specifically from math, there's AMATIC or MATIC New Jersey.
Yeah, so a link to that would be great. Yeah.
And that's math generally, but a lot of the last couple of meetings that I've been to, we've talked a lot about the changes that are coming through for developmental.
Okay.
Well, that brings me up to that brings up another point. I mean, we talked about DevEd, but what about
college level?
Right.
And disciplines.
Right.
I don't know how deep we can get. I mean, we may not be ready to populate that right this moment.
Right.
Yeah, but I think that if you think about, especially we just did those learning outcomes for the 10 big gen ed courses. So, if we're able to, some of that might just be through teaching and learning resources.
Yeah, that's interesting, because this is the other reason why I go to the council's website is for information about the gen eds and like what other colleges, have, what courses other colleges have approved. So any data, any information about that, I usually look for that on the council side, not necessarily within the,
Yeah, and I think we need to keep it that way, actually. Because
because especially if the information doesn't, if it's updated in one spot and not the other.
Yeah. And they can work on how they package that, but I think that should really be owned by the council, not the center.
You could maybe put something like that on resources and link it back to where it would be on the main council page.
Yeah.
That might be helpful.
Yeah, we could do that. Mm-hmm. So I just want to show you briefly, if you don't mind, I'm just going to leave this website for a second. And I want to show you the Middlesex the one that we did for our faculty development center. And I don't think this is perfect, but I think that it kind of, you could this is my vision, have it much more visual with, different categories. And for the I think we should have a teaching and learning page, because there are some institutions that don't have any teaching and learning center, and they just can't recreate. So we could definitely populate it with the resources as we do events. We could put our webinars, we're going to do monthly webinars there. We could also ask colleges to, if we could link. I mean, I have all these links already on the Middlesex page. I could link right there. Half of them I created myself anyway. So I can link to those. We could even do a call for, do you have resources that you'd like to share, and post.
And also events. I mean,
I love that Eventbrite, register for an event right up at the top. Like, just make that really easy. Click right there, and then you probably fill those spots up even faster.
Yeah.
Because I mean, so many of specifically our adjuncts are teaching at multiple institutions. It could be that, an event hosted by Mercer might, because we're close to it. So if there's a way to share those, if folks are interested in having more participation, maybe not even necessarily from their own staff and faculty.
Yeah. Yeah, we've talked about that, and it's just a matter of how do you make that happen and what's the easiest way to do that. So I think sharing it through the website is probably a good way. We just got to figure out the right way to do it within the website, so it's not confusing. It's clear to them, because some of them charge fees for things and others don't. You got to just be careful about all that. But I think that would be great to share not only some of the webinar kinds of resources, but also, some of the actual events that are going on their campuses.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to say something, but I don't know if I entirely agree with what I'm about to say, if that makes any sense. But when we come to the resources, maybe one idea would be to kind of put them with headings like resources for, even adjuncts, resources for full-time faculty, resources for advisors. The only problem with that is that there's a lot of overlap. A lot of those resources would be the same. So even though it would be great if we could reach out a little bit more, kind of make a direct pitch to adjuncts, it may not make sense, because there would be a lot of overlap.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that I think it's better to do topical versus group person, because I think there's just too much overlap. And as long as we make it clear, if we think about, well, what would an adjunct or a full-timer or an advisor, what would they be looking for? And it's not, right now what we have is not clear. So something, that has more of a visual, thing, we can have the things across the top, whichever way we want to do it is fine. But we're thinking about using Wix. I'm just gonna go show you my own personal website for a second. I used Wix for it. It's pretty easy to use. You could set up different things. You can have this thing pop up right away to join your mailing list. You can, list all the different tabs you want. So if you want to, have teaching resources, but you see how much more visual it is when you have the actual video versus, and then these are art, clearly tell folks what it is,
I love it. Yeah.
Sample syllabi is something else that we didn't talk about, but I have on, those are things that we don't have to do right now, but then the presentation handouts from things, the handouts, different things like that. So
this is much better. Yeah. Great.
I think it's going to be pretty easy to use Wix and to, look at the difference between those other websites and this one, right?
Now, when our website looks so jazzy and well organized, and the council website is still kind of,
they're going to have to follow suit. Yeah. We're going to be the leaders, I think, in that, and then they're going to have to. Actually, if you go to the council website, I'm going to back up. The workforce development page actually has a pretty nice looking.
I've never gone to that.
Yeah. Hang on, it takes a minute to load. I don't know why it takes so long to load. Here we go. So they have, it's very clear, up here, the kinds of things that they have. And again, visual.
Nice.
So different than what we have on the main page.
As far as accessibility too, the Wix, is that something that people can see on their phones and on tablets?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah, they actually have it, so you can double check to make sure the mobile's all working right.
Great.
Yeah. So, all right, let me go back to our page for a second. Any other suggestions for Brian? Or Brian, do you have any questions?
Done
it all. You're all set, right?
Yeah, right. So I tried to make notes, and I came up with a lot of tabs you talked about. Maybe if we just ran through and see whether you're still...
You know what, let me do this, Brian. I'm going to pull up a Word document real quick.
Okay.
And maybe we can actually get them written for you and make sure we're together on it. Okay, so
you started with about.
Yep, and under about, we were going to have, let me make this a little bigger. It's small. Under about.
Advisory board and partners.
You know, the funding partners probably need to be present on the actual front page because they're so important. We wouldn't exist without them. So maybe this is more for center staff and advisory board.
Oh, yeah.
And then I think I'm just going to make a note that the funders need to be on the front page, I think. We have to find a place for them, pretty prominent. Okay. What did you have next on your list?
You had partners under about as well, or is that the...
That's the funders, yeah. I'll put partners here so they have the same language.
Okay. Okay. Guided pathways.
Yep.
Yeah.
So guided pathways will have, it'll have, let's see, we have what is guided pathways? We'll have to have something like that.
So you mentioned that structure on that handout, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so then we're going to have like a program maps. We're going to have learning experiences and getting students on the path. We'll use like, you know, and staying on the path. I'll get you the right language, but just do those markers here.
Right.
Okay.
Then you mentioned initiatives.
So under initiatives, we had Achieving the Dream, and we had NJC4. I'm working off of memory. Anybody else have anything else that we had?
You mentioned STARS.
Oh, what about college readiness? Would you call that an initiative, right? That would go here too, no?
I had that down as a separate tab, the way you talked about it, but it's up to you.
What do you think? It is kind of an initiative, right? Or do you think it deserves its own tab?
You may.
Is it part of
Guided pathways too?
Yeah.
Well, it is. You know, like, so this is where the thing. I mean, everything is going to be part of guided pathways. Like, so this. You know, I mean, I think we're going to need like a teaching and learning tab.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to have some of these very visible. But if you have too many tabs, then it's going to go to the more.
That's what I was going to say. You really. I mean, your existing page has got 6 tabs. You probably don't want to go much more than 7.
Mm-hmm. So let's play it out and see if we kept college readiness under initiatives. I mean, I just feel like the teaching and learning is so important that it might need its own tab, but maybe it doesn't get one. I mean, it is here, you know.
Right.
I just don't know if faculty, like an adjunct, would know to go to guided pathways.
Well, in a way, by not having anything but, limiting it down to just like guided pathways, so you're like forcing people to recognize that this is the overall model.
That's true. I like that thinking, this is the only place to go.
Yeah.
I mean, and if we did on the front page, I think on the front page, we could have that graphic that I showed, and then that could also link directly to learning. Like the pieces within it could go directly to those pages.
When you say front page, you mean the front page of the site?
Like the landing page.
Yes, the landing page, right. So you wanted that guided pathways graphic there.
Yeah, I think if we put this on the home page, then these could, these things would also, this will have its own, maybe it doesn't even need a tab then, because maybe everything would be linked. I don't know.
Well, when you're off the page, you need to be able to get back to it. So the tabs probably would need to refer to all the main landing pages.
Right. Okay, so let me take this out, and if we keep it on the front page, it would be obvious on the front page.
Right.
Learning experiences should be there. And then we had resources, I think, right?
Yeah, you mentioned student success in various forms. I'm not sure where that ended up.
Yeah. I don't know either. Maybe initiatives isn't the right word here. Maybe things can go under.
No, because really with those, I don't know. Because with Achieving the Dream and stuff too, I'm like, really, is it better to say something like grants or
programs?
Programs, yeah. But then, I mean, Guided Pathways in a way is kind of a program. So,
what if we called it initiatives and Prior and no, they're not even prior because it's ongoing. Other initiatives.
Yeah, but there's overlap there too, so it's not.
Well, a guided path means we want to call a movement.
Yeah,
We want it to
okay.
be grander. We don't want it to be initiative fatigue. And I know it's just playing on words, but that's,
Right.
but we want it to be, like this has to be its own thing. It can't be under initiatives, I think that definitely has to have its own tab. But we could call this, the question is like, should student success courses be here, or would these go under resource? Like where would
I know.
Resources like that.
I think that looks kind of muddled to me. Because again, I'd kind of want to see that under the guided pathways with the, whole getting and staying on the path even. Really, like with Achieving the Dream, like we're really just talking about a large level grant there too. So, those really have funding and report requirements and all of that tied to it. So that's why those people would want to go.
And college readiness is grants. So how about grant related initiatives? Because actually Guided Pathways doesn't have any funding.
Yeah.
We have funding for the center, but not.
Yeah, grant. I like that a little bit. Does that make sense to you, Bill?
Yeah.
Okay, so grant related or grant initiatives? Maybe just grant initiatives.
Yeah.
Okay, because then they all fall under that.
Yeah.
And then we have resources, national. This can include links to websites.
Yep.
For reports, like documents or whatever. This can include again links to websites, but also was this where the New Jersey Story and the New Jersey Story data?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we can call it resources and data. Maybe something like that.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, and then we wanted something about events.
Right.
Yeah. I'd say put that high up too.
Should it just be okay? So, all right, events, and then this could be upcoming and past.
Mm-hmm. And with making sure that there's like a quick link to registration.
Yeah.
And then you had a tab for data at the end. Oh, you put that together with resources now.
Yeah.
Right.
A quick link to
We want some resources down there too that are topic specific, or do you just want to break it down from national to state?
Well, I guess it depends. We'll have to look at it. Like we're going to have, like, I don't know where to put like all the resources for college readiness. Would it go under here or would it go under here?
Well, you could always double up though. Finding something in more than one place is never a bad.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's what I was about to say about the past events. I think a lot of folks are going to come to the site and say, "Oh, I wasn't able to make it to a meeting."
Right.
You can easily go to the past events instead of digging through.
So maybe it stays there, and then this stays a little simpler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it could link. We could put like in here. We could have a link to past events.
Mm-hmm.
So just go to that page or something.
Yep.
And then that past events page can be organized by topic. The upcoming will be obviously chronological. And then this one could be organized by topic.
You do have two different things kind of as your front page now, or your landing page, because you have the partners funders, and then you wrote next to that front page, and you also have that next to Guided Pathways. So I don't know how you merge those two.
Well, I guess my vision is, I'm just going to sit over here for a second. If we could have, this really be like visually on the front page, it's clear what our mission is and all. So this could be, there off on the right, it could be a list of the funding partners. And then this could link, like we would link, this would link to the readiness. This would link to the program maps. We don't have everything that we have something to link to, but if we do, we could. Professional development would link right to the teaching and learning resources page. So I'm thinking like this is really the main thing that's on the front page with the funders listed, a special thanks to our funders over on the right or something. That makes sense?
Yeah.
So, Is this helping you a bit more now, Brian? Do you feel better about
it? That's much better. Yeah, that's put it together, and you've got it down to 5 tabs. I think.
Look at us. We are like rocking and rolling it, aren't we?
I added
this.
It's pretty much in alphabetical order too, which I really like.
Oh, how funny is that? We didn't even try to do that. It's like
sort of. It's almost there anyway.
Grant initiatives. Put a U in the grant, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have to keep guided pathways. The days are together. We're going by letter.
Sure. Okay. Well, that's great. That's a great start.
A lot to work off of. Let me just put up here that we also want a mailing list button.
Yeah. And you had 2 button ideas. One was mailing lists and the other was...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, what about...
Who would they go to? Who would the question button?
They should come to me.
To you.
You just put direct to my email. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You want some sort of like an FAQ page, or especially if you tend to answering the same question over and over again.
Right.
I gotta be honest. I don't know if that. I don't know if you need that. I think that. This what is guided pathways we can include on this page. Like there can be things like the Ralph Johnstone, the myths of guided pathways, which are mostly the questions about it. I'll make a note here to include the Johnstone myths. I guess we could see if we, right now nobody's asking me any questions and it's a terrible website, so I think they're going to have lots of I'm just not, I don't know, maybe they'll have more questions if they start using it. Maybe nobody's ever going there. That's why I don't know I'm not sure what the answer is, but I don't know. What do you think, Bill? Do you think a FAQ page is?
Well, I think the original description there about what is guided pathways, I think kind of sets the stage for their expectations. The about information I think is going to suffice for a lot of things. I'm not sure what kind of questions we would get outside of those that wouldn't be answered outside of those 2 areas.
Good point.
Mm-hmm. I think we're amazing. I think we did just solve the world's problems in 45 minutes, right?
Sure.
At least the website problem. Now all we have to do is Brian make it all happen.
This is a very small problem, but I did want to say on the advisory board, I'm listed as an associate professor, and you've given me a very nice promotion, but I'm an assistant professor.
Oh.
So I will demote myself now.
Okay, I'll find you. I actually have to make a change anyway on here, so I will. I will. So it's assistant professor.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. I'll change that. Sorry, I was trying to get you some more.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, at least I went in that direction, not the other one. I didn't.
Yeah.
There you go.
Lots of lists to keep track of. So thanks for pointing that out. All right. Anybody else with anything?
I think it looks great.
I guess, Christine, just one more thing. Is there any links to anything with the, do we need to have any links to the 4-year colleges on anything, additional resources, or especially with I know a lot of people's focus is now possibly going 3+1 programs, and I know it doesn't necessarily fit in here, but is there any reason why we need any links to anybody with the,
Well, the New Jersey transfer folks actually just came to the program map meeting that we had, and transfer is listed on the guided pathways in those 4 buckets. So maybe at a minimum we, I don't think this is telling us all the sub pages within, so we're going to have to get to the next layer of pages. But I think within that, under program maps, transfer is one of them, and we need to minimally at least link to NJ transfer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure how detailed we want to get with all those specialized programs. Again, I'm thinking that might be more council-ish than
you're right. Okay.
Center focused. But we can definitely make sure we have all those pages have to open up to another page.
Yeah.
And have something else there. And it may be that it just goes to the NJ transfer, or maybe it's a landing page where that's one of the resources.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, great.
Cool.
All right, well, thank you for your time. I can't believe you folks are amazing. Last night, I'm I never even emailed them to confirm. They're going to kill me. Oh, God.
So, Christine, I've got a dash. Could you just email me that summary?
I will. I'll save this.
And a link to the recording as well, if you can.
Yes, I'm going to do that also. Perfect. Thanks so much, Brian. I appreciate it.
Sure.
So, Jen and Will, I have one more question for you also.
Mm-hmm.
You're still on the line. With the ambassador approach,
Mm-hmm.
For the faculty ambassador, I forget where we landed on this part of the dialogue. Were we thinking that the teaching and learning center director type person would be that person, or in some cases that's an administrator and not a faculty, so it should be a different person? Because I need to start asking the academic officers, I think, for the contact person, services for their contact person. And I'm thinking it should be different, but I just wanted to check because I am using those folks to help me communicate information. I don't want it to be duplicative. So let's say the two of you were at the same college and one was my teaching learning center director and the other was the faculty ambassador. What if you both are pushing it out and you didn't talk to each other? I just don't know what to do because I think.
Yeah, it makes sense that the teaching and learning person would be the ambassador.
Okay, so I should have that person, even if it's an administrator.
Yeah.
And that's the one downside because some of them are administrators.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we just created the position this year. So our coordinator for teaching and learning is faculty.
And in many cases it is, but it's not always.
Yeah,
so
right.
That was my only hesitation because I was thinking it made a whole lot of sense, but then I'm thinking, you know, what I could do is I could lean on my TLC people and say, look, if you think you have someone else at your college that would be better suited that they're going to listen to because you're an administrator, I mean, I think you understand those things. So I could say, I'm sending it to you. And if you want to send it to someone else to push out, then by all means do that.
I could also see it going out to whoever runs the faculty senate or equivalent.
Yeah.
Would be another person, you know, as part of the government process of the institution to get that.
That's probably what would happen at my school because we don't have a teaching and learning center yet formally.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just worried about having too many.
Right.
Yeah.
Points. I'm trying to keep it streamlined. And honestly, I think that this, if we can get folks to this revised website, that's going to make it so much better for getting people directly linked up because then the people who want to hear will sign up for the mailing list.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we're going to be able to do that in addition to the other. And then that, I think, will be really the key to success. Okay. I just wanted to bounce that off. So I appreciate that.
Sure.
All right. Well, thank you all.
Thank you.
So excited. I feel like we have a plan and maybe in a month or so we'll have a website.
All right. Awesome.
We have one, but you know what I mean? A better one.
Sure.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks. I'll reach out when I need to. So if Brian has questions or something and he wants to show us something, are you okay with me reaching out?
Sure.
Jump on. Whoever can. If you can't, don't worry. But I appreciate you sharing your time and expertise. So thanks so much.
Sure.
All right. Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.